Good evening to everyone. Matthew, the 7th chapter, verse 24, it says, "Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rains descended, the floods came, the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall. It was founded on the rock. But everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rains descended, the floods came, the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall." Storms come. No doubt about that. You live around here, especially in the springtime, storms come. And there's a big market for storm shelters. And there's even a place over in Oklahoma that builds them, and he sells them as fast as he can put them together, make them out of concrete, buries them in the ground. But do you have a plan in place? Do you have an emergency preparedness plan in place? Schools are doing things different than what we did when I went to school. We prepared for the nuclear bomb that would go off. We'd have a drill, and everybody would get down and get under their desk, put their hands over their head and on their knees, and they'd kneel down under there, and we'd wait there for a few minutes. And then we'd get up, and that's what we'd do for a nuclear bomb. So anyway, we also had fire drills where everybody would get to go outside. And you could go outside and stand out there, and then the firemen would come around, and then you'd go back in and go back to your desk. Preparing you for the end of the event in case you did have to leave because of a fire, you know how to march out in an orderly fashion. We take out things that are preparedness plans. We live with locks on our doors. We have insurance. We might keep 911 handy on our phone. I think it even comes up there when you first turn it on, if you need to call it or not. And I believe that you can even call 911 as long as the battery's charged from any phone. It doesn't even have to be on a contract or anything. We've talked about here this week amongst the eldership of getting a first aid kit. That's kind of a preparedness plan, preparing for something that takes place that might need and require medical attention. I remember the I Love Lucy show that when Lucy was pregnant, they prepared for the day when she would have to go to the hospital to have the baby, and they got all the their suitcases and all of that in order and everything, and they walked through it, without any problem, and everything went smoothly. But then when it arrived, everything was chaotic. Nothing went according to plan. Never does with Lucy. But anyway, I remember them working on that, having that plan in place. But what is your plan? Jesus, of course, gives us the plan. The proper plan is whoever hears these words of mine and does them, he's going to be a wise man that is prepared for the storms of life. And he will also be prepared for the judgment day. That day that is going to catch a lot of people by surprise because they will be unprepared, because it's going to come like a thief in the night. We've got a plan. We've got a plan for that day. It's right here before us. Nobody will be able to say that they did not have a plan, because God has given us the plan. But the foolish man, he doesn't pay any attention to the sayings of Jesus, and he's not going to be ready for that day. And his life continually is built upon pleasure and sinful things and things like that. And so he's not prepared for trouble. He can't take trouble because he only wants pleasures and happiness. And he blames God when there's struggles. He's unprepared for difficult things in life. In the book of Philippians, if you'll read that, you'll find out that Paul wanted the Philippians' conduct to be worthy of the gospel, steadfast in one spirit, striving for the faith of the gospel. Why? Because that was their plan. That's what would prepare them for the same conflicts that Paul had endured. He said that he was preparing them for the same type of conflicts that he was suffering for, because he was writing from prison because of the gospel. That's where he was at. And he was preparing them. And he said, if you'll be steadfast in the gospel, you'll be prepared for the same conflicts that I have endured and suffered for the gospel. Anyway, we need to be